Mike Adams, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm living the dream.
Well, good. Well, first off, thank you for coming on the Salem Business Journal podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Pione. I want to thank Compass Visuals and SMI Real Estate for sponsoring this podcast. Thanks, guys. Now, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Just following wherever I go. It's a never-ending challenge or never-ending adventure going through life. And I've done a lot of things in my life, and I thought I retired a couple of years ago, but here I am.
Still cooking. Literally cooking.
Literally. Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so you got a lot of things going on. What are you doing now? You got Adam's Ribs.
Yep.
Bow and Vine.
Yep.
And you're very involved in the community.
Yep.
What all do you do?
Just don't leave out Cozy's New York Deli.
Oh, and Cozy's
New York Deli, sandwich shop in town.
I did go there. There was a great sandwich.
It is, and I've got 5 guys that work there, and only because I can't be in there as much as as when I first bought it. Best deli sandwich. They work hard for me. They do a good job. I don't work really in any of my restaurants anymore. I come and go. My kids pretty much have taken everything over except the deli. I go in there more than anything. It's all my life I wanted to own a deli since I was a little kid.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I started watching TV shows, cooking shows when I was probably, I was in first grade. I had a double eye operation and couldn't see for a month.
In first grade?
In first grade, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, they had me blind for, I think, a month or 6 weeks. And so I was home from school. And my mom would help me with my schoolwork. The teacher would drop it off at my house because we only lived a block from the school. And then my mom would help me with it. And then, so, it doesn't take long when, that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Then she would turn on the TV and I'd watch, there was a TV show in Southern California, Sheriff John. And he was a kid's show. And he'd play cartoons and have little skits and things like that. And then after that, the French Chef would come on.
Julia. Oh, good.
And I would listen. I wouldn't watch because I couldn't see. So I would just listen to all these shows. And I mean, Yan Can Cook and the Galloping Gourmet, Graham Kerr. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think Graham Kerr, if he's still alive, I think he lives up in the Seattle area.
Oh, cool.
Julia Child's gone now, but Martin Yan Can Cook. I don't know. I'd have to look up and see if he's still around.
Do you think we could get one of them to come down for like a food competition?
I know, right? I don't know. They would say I was a little kid when I started watching all those shows, and they were in their 20s and 30s, and this was 1967, 68.
Well, they got free time.
Yeah,
man.
69. So, how old would they be today? My mom's 87, and that's my new job, really, is taking care of my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. We moved her in about 8 months ago. And
I remember you telling me about that. How's that been?
It's been a roller coaster. I mean,
I bet.
I wanted to do, because her whole life, she'd never really traveled. We would go camping every year for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That was the extent of her traveling. So the first thing we did with her was take her to Las Vegas, because she hadn't been there since she was 17.
Okay.
And
last time she was there, she was 17.
She was 17, 70
and
years ago.
How old is she now?
87.
So you took her to Vegas at 87.
Yeah, and she's going, oh, this is different. It was just a little town. Like, well, it was 70 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
You had Fremont Street pretty much.
Wow.
And and so we took her to Las Vegas, and she won $700 in a slot machine.
Dang, but that's crazy.
She wanted to keep going. I said, no, that's good. You just won $700.
You got no one to stop.
So and then the day we came home, and the next day she had a major stroke.
Oh gosh.
I kind of felt guilty, but the doctor said, no, it wasn't because of the traveling. It's just something that happens. That was the first trip we took, and we wanted to take her on more, but now we have to wait till she's, well enough to. She spent 3 weeks in the hospital, and she's getting up and about. She has to walk with a walker. But I get up every morning, make her breakfast, give her morning batch of pills. And then, it's you get old, I guess you gotta have these things.
But you know what? I mean, I think that's really cool. I mean, it's also like, it's a part of life. And it's also, I think it's really, it's really heartening to hear that you got to go traveling with your mom again.
Yeah.
And you got to take her to Vegas because, like, think about it. Like, if she wasn't doing that and she's just at home, that's not living.
It's not. And she was really excited, and she's excited once she feels better. She's got a 94-year-old sister and a 76-year-old brother living in California. And her youngest brother, he's like my oldest brother because he lived with us for quite a bit of time. So he seems like, I always felt like he was my big brother. Mm-hmm. He's 12 years older than me. He lives in Thousand Oaks, and then her sister lives in Redondo Beach. And she'd been there forever. It was so funny the other day. They're on the phone with each other, and I come in, and she says, "Did you get the picture?" She's a little more technically savvy than my mom. She had texted me a picture. She thought I looked through my phone. It wasn't there. And so I grabbed my mom's phone and I pushed FaceTime. And so I had them talking to each other, looking at each other's faces, which my mom doesn't know how to do. And they look like twins almost.
Who does, your mom and
my mom and my aunt.
Oh, that's funny. So how did you get into, because like I've known you since I've been involved in the community.
Yeah.
And I remember like, here I am like 20, 21 years old, just got elected into the office.
Yeah.
And I think I met you at the convention center. And I don't remember if you were catering the event or if you were just there.
Probably was just there because that's another thing. You can't have outside caterers. It has to be convention center.
They got you.
Yeah, they get you there.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but I remember meeting you. It was probably there at the convention center. I don't know what the event was, but
I don't either. Yeah. But I do remember meeting you distinctly, and I was like, man, what a cool guy. Especially in a world where I was just so like, I didn't know anybody, and it was intimidating. Like I still suffer from imposter syndrome half the time. And so you were very like, you eased a lot of like the tension, or like, I felt like a lot more at ease just talking to you, which was really nice.
That's nice to hear because, I've been involved for a long time. Mm-hmm. We moved here to Salem 40 years ago, and I've owned a few different businesses over the years. My first couple businesses, I wasn't that involved, but when I got into,
what were your first couple businesses?
I started I had a cleaning service that really didn't go anywhere. It was like a office home kind of janitorial type thing. And I got a couple clients, and then that was it. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. And then I got back into landscaping, and I owned a landscape company from 89 to 2000 here.
Well, that's that's like 11 years.
Something like that. Yeah. I did the same thing in California when I started my first company when I was 18. And
landscaping companies are cool, especially when you're young. If you're willing to work and just do the work.
That's the thing. It's physical labor, and my body likes physical labor apparently because today we just got done setting up for the state fair, and I've been doing that all week, just busting it out. So
I want to get to know your story. I mean, I already got you here, so you're locked in.
You ask me whatever you want. I've been trying to get people to sit down with me and ask me whatever they want for years.
Well, you got into the restaurant business, right? Yeah. It sounds like you've kind of been a lifelong entrepreneur with all with these, several different businesses.
Yeah. So. Here's a funny one.
Yeah.
Lifelong entrepreneur. My family was not wealthy. Yeah. We were on the lower end of the middle class.
Okay.
And my dad never made a big paycheck. He was a machinist, worked for a specialized machines company.
Yeah.
And he never asked for a raise. I mean, the guy, he took what they gave him basically. Mm-hmm. And he was just a nice guy. He would even take in other family members. My mom's side of the family, there's a lot of abuse and stuff going on in with her cousins and stuff. And so they would all have, 2 or 3 kids, and they'd all come to live with us, the mom and all the kids. And it's 7 to 10 kids in our house all the time. And so you learn to figure out ways to get money when you're a kid. So they would buy at the Hostess day old bakery. They'd get the bread, and we'd get boxes of Twinkies and ding dongs,
really
ho-hos, and I would put a couple extra in my lunch every day.
Oh, as you should.
And
yeah,
I'd go to school, and how much you want for that? Oh, that's 50 cents. So I'm making $1.50 every day.
Oh,
and then I learned,
how old were you?
If I bring more, I was probably, 10, 11 years old.
I love that. Yeah, you're out there like getting
and you're just figuring it out.
So let's get back
to business.
Yeah. So how did you start Adam's Ribs?
Okay, so Adam's Ribs started in a food truck. Mm-hmm. I had built It's funny.
Wait, when was this? What year was this?
About 97 or 8, something like that.
Oh, you were an OG food truck days.
Oh yeah, there was
Yeah.
We a friend of mine said, "Hey, we should build a food truck and sell hot dogs at the fair." So I had a trailer, and so I start building it, I start putting it together, and then this guy disappears. Big ghost. He's gone. He runs away from home at 50 years old. Yeah, old.
Wait, how old were you?
I was probably 39.
Okay.
38, 39, 37. I don't know, something like that. Late 30s. And he was probably 50. And what was his name? Anyways, he disappears just off the planet. His wife's like, I don't know where he went.
He just left his life?
Left it.
That is
gone.
Crazy.
Later on, found him. And I still have contact with his stepson and his mom every once in a while, but or his ex-wife every once in a while. But she lives in Oregon City now. But and Dorian. If you ever see Dorian commenting on Facebook on my stuff, that's the stepson. Anyways, the guy disappears. He ends up in Iowa or something. They finally track him down, and he's just like, I'm done. Yeah, just gone.
Just chilling, just vibing.
Yeah, didn't want any part of it. Didn't want. Yeah,
it's a wild move.
Yeah, he passed away some years ago now, but anyway, so he ditches out, and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm doing here. What the hell? Yeah. So,
but you already had the food truck.
So yeah, I'm halfway done with it. I've already invested money in, and
were you expecting him to also like invest?
Yeah, and then he's gone, and so I'm like, well, I've already got $3,000 or $4,000 in it. I didn't have a lot of money back then, and I still don't. But I finished the truck. And it was going to be a hot dog cart. It was a 15-foot trailer. I built a class 4 kitchen in there. We had boiling pot for hot dogs, and it was very basic. It had a small hood, some warmers, and then we started doing different events and stuff like school carnivals and stuff like that for them. And we started selling at Saturday market, and we had a kosher all beef. It's called King Kosher was the hot dog. And we did pretty good at it. I mean, we would do, back then it was, 97, 98. We were doing $700 on a Saturday selling hot dogs out of this cart,
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, I did it. I did it to give my kids something to do with me on the weekend because I was landscaping during the week.
And sorry, how many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids. And what are their names?
Mike. He's the oldest. I think he's going to be 40 in November. I have Jen.
Yes.
She's 37, 30. Yeah. Something like that. A couple of years younger than Mike. Then I have Matt, and he's about 5 years younger than Jen. So,
okay. I've met Matt.
Yeah. Matt.
Super nice guy.
Yeah. He's the Bow and Vine guy.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah. And Mike is the Adam's Rib. He's been running that for 12 or 15 years, probably. And then Jen does Genuine Desserts, which is her own thing.
Genuine Desserts
and coffee. Funny. Coffee bar. She does coffee and occasionally high-end like mixed drinks, like and then they do beer and stuff. She runs the Turner Night Market. That's her.
Oh, that's cool.
She started that thing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, all the kids they all left for a period and they all came back.
So at this time, you're doing landscaping during the week and hot dog stand on the weekends, and your kids,
they're all working in the hot dog stand and making good money for a Saturday. They all got paid good. They all got paid their share.
What teaches them how to work when they are.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good skill.
And that's why they all are the way they are.
Yeah.
One day we showed up at Saturday market and they had let another hot dog vendor in. Well, if you know the Salem Saturday market, it's not very big.
Yep.
And you put another hot dog vendor in that's selling a cheaper hot dog, and that cuts into your sales. And I says, you vetted me in and said I could only sell hot dogs, and then I was the hot dog guy, and now you're letting another person sell hot dogs. And they're like, well, once you're in, you can sell whatever you want. I'm like, oh, well, I want to rent another space next week. And so I brought my big pit smoker out.
Oh, okay.
And so I started doing smoking meats out there on Saturday, and we'd do.
So you did hot dogs and smoked meats,
and we did hot dogs. And
what was the name of this hot dog stand?
It was Trump's Doghouse, but we had a dog. He was a Springer Spaniel named Hunter's Trumpet.
Okay. Okay.
And
I was
the
like,
logo,
a weird time for
Yeah.
that name.
I know,
Okay.
I know. Especially,
So you had a dog named Trumpet.
yep,
Oh, cool.
yeah, yeah. He was a cool looking dog. He was a cool Springer Spaniel. Always carried a water bottle in his mouth.
That's actually
And-
funny.
Well, they're duck dogs, you know, so
Yeah.
they're used to. They have a soft bite, and so he would just walk around with that water bottle in his mouth.
Just hanging out.
And so we had an artist friend of mine do our logo was a picture of him
Mm-hmm.
with a hot dog instead of a water bottle.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so that was Trump's Doghouse.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was
You'll have to
pretty
send me
cool.
a photo of that, and I can put it
I-
up. Like when you.
I don't
mention
even know. You know, I've looked through my photo albums to see if I've got any.
No.
Probably have one in a box somewhere. All my stuff is in the barn right now because we moved from one place to another quite a few years ago, and it's still in the barn.
it. Well, what can you do?
Yeah, we're getting ready to build onto the house so then I
So-
can get stuff out. But
So now you're selling. I love this story.
Yeah.
So you started off with hot dogs,
hot
at the
dogs,
Saturday market.
hot dogs and shaved ice.
Hot dogs and shaved,
And
ice. And then you're like, well, I'm just going to start doing some smoked meat on the side.
Yep. And that grew bigger than the hot dogs. I would have lines where the Saturday market is downtown. There's an apartment complex across the street,
Mm-hmm.
and the smoke would waft over there to the.
Oh,
And
that's
so then I'm having all
that.
these people come out of the apartment complex, and I had lines, 30 people deep, and they're waiting. Is it ready yet? It's like, no, give me another 20, 30 minutes, and because we smoke it, same in the restaurant, we smoke it fresh, and we put raw meat in it. It takes minimum 3 hours to smoke a rack of ribs.
Oh, it does for sure.
And so we'd get there at 6 a.m, and by we usually were ready by about 10 to start selling stuff. Anyway, so that's Adam's Rib. That started. Adam's Rib officially started probably when we started calling it Adam's Rib. It was probably 2001 or 2. It was Trump's Doghouse from the fire pit, I think. And that was the barbecue part was
Mhm.
Trump's Doghouse, and then from the fire pit. And then probably about 2001 or 2,
Mm-hmm.
we started, thinking about new names because people kept asking, where's your restaurant at? And we didn't have one. We just worked out of that food truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in 2003, we opened the first location on Market Street.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one lasted about 18 months. That was a learning experience. I went to work for Kevin Cameron, Cafe Today Restaurants.
Okay. I love Kevin.
And he started a chain. Him and I went to church together way back.
Yeah.
And he was looking for people to partner with him and open more restaurants. So I went to work for him for about 3 years, and it didn't go the direction. He reorganized the way he wanted to do things. In 2003, I left and opened Adam's Rib. And we were still, even while I was working for him, I was still doing the food truck stuff on the weekend.
Yeah. Well, because then that's kind of cool because you get to kind of learn about the industry
And that's,
kind of how
because
Kevin's got a really great mind.
Oh yeah,
I love
he
talking
hates
to
when I
Kevin.
tell people that I give him a lot of credit for it, and he's like, Mike, I wasn't very nice, and I'm like, Kevin, I'm not talking. I learned everything. I said, everything you learn off of somebody, you don't always use.
Yeah.
You use good, you throw away the bad.
Mm-hmm.
You remember it so that you try not to repeat the bad. Everybody has good and bad.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't matter. I have good and bad, and I've mentored a lot of people, and I hope I've helped people along the way. People tell me I have,
I actually blame Kevin for me getting into politics. I just got adopted, and my adopted mom and him worked across the hallway from each other, so they'd buy each other coffee.
Oh,
And for school, because I was trying to finish up high school because I was so far behind,
yeah.
I had to do an internship of some sort. And she was like, well, I know Kevin Cameron, he's across the hall, but that's back when he was a house rep.
Yeah.
And so she's like, well, why don't you just go intern with Kevin? And so I was like, okay, sure. So I went and interned with Kevin.
Oh,
He
that's
let me
cool.
go sit on the floor with him. It was super fun. I also
Yeah.
got to do the same with Jackie Winters, which was a huge, great experience for me at that age.
Yeah.
But I was out on the floor with him, and he's like, you should run for office one day. And I just I was like, nah. Then I sat there for a minute. I was like, what if I did?
Yeah. But he a couple of years ago, he told me that. He said, how old are you, Mike? He's only a couple of years older than I am.
Yeah.
And he said, well, yeah, 60. I'm 63 now, but that's a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, if you ran, you just do a couple terms, you'd still be under 70 by the time
Just doing the math, pulling out some arithmetic.
And I seriously thought about it, but my wife says my skin's too soft,
That's fair. That's fair.
You got to have thick skin to be in politics.
Yeah, well, it's not.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh yeah, well, totally. Well, what I found though, the reason I left, right, was because it's just your ability to get things done. I initially thought that was going to be my way to change the world, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to help kids. That was my sole agenda. In fact, I'm the only person on that freaking board who hasn't ran for another office of some sort.
Yeah.
Afterwards, right? And I have zero intention to.
Yeah.
And because I was solely there because I wanted to help kids who grew up like me. That was a promise I made with, the big man upstairs, and I intended on keeping it. And what I found was it was just, you're like, I want to help these kids, and I want to do this because I think it would, benefit, have the sole benefit of helping kids who kind of grew up rough.
Yeah.
And no matter what you say, you're like, I love vanilla ice cream. They're like, you hate chocolate ice cream. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah. You're like, I love, I really like dogs. They're like, you hate cats. Like, no, cats are also cool, And so it was so frustrating. And it was like there's this one time, I got junior achievement we're talking to them. They do financial literacy, right? I got them to agree, to come work with Salem Kaiser. And I'm not going to go into the intricacies of the deal or how things exactly went. But long story short, they cut a very good deal. Well, they basically told us, if you guys just show up, we'll give it to you guys for free. And then we'll charge it like the other cities, like Eugene, Bend, Newport, right? Yeah. Because the Portland one was already kind of maxed out. They can't only fit all of our kids in there.
Yeah.
And they wanted to come here and be able to provide financial literacy to kids, right?
Yeah.
And so I brought this in. We even had a meeting where Jerry Frank was there. There was a bunch of people from
another good friend of mine.
Gas. Really, I only got to meet him at the end of his life. And when I was in office, I remember calling him in the hospital when he was still, and just asking him questions. I wish I got to know him better.
Oh, he was an amazing man. Yeah. I was his landscaper.
Were you really?
Oh yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. He called me up one day. And his landscaper had got another DUI and was in jail. And he says, "Oh no!" He says, and he did a full investigation before he called me. He had me investigated to see if I was okay.
Yeah,
he did that with everybody.
Yeah.
And so he calls me. He says, "I want you to come take care of my yard."
Yeah.
And so I charged him. It was cheap. It was like $20 an hour or something like that. But he was over $1,000 a month in my income. Because I was there 3 days a week. You couldn't leave any dry leaves on the bushes or on the ground or
he needed everything away.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
I loved it.
But yeah, so anyways,
I had back on track.
Yeah. So we had all these people coming to this meeting, and then I think I was 22 at the time. It was like my first and second year on the board. I was trying to get this done. And we even sent a couple schools from Salem Kaiser up to junior achievement to check it out.
Yeah.
It came back, great reviews. All the kids loved it. Teachers loved it. Cool. Okay. Financials. Then it was just, they were going to junior achievements, we will help get the support. And then they came back and guess what the school district said? No.
What? No.
And the reason that I remember being told, now I could be wrong. Don't come after me. Actually, you can come after me. I don't care. I'm not in office.
Yeah.
But the reason I remember being told was because they're like, well, when are we going to fit this into the day? I'm like, I don't know, math class, just find a time, social studies, I don't know, just a time of the day. Cause that's an important skill, I think.
Yeah.
I do believe, I want to push back on that just a little bit because I really do believe, at least from me getting to know people on there. And I try my best to try to talk to people and meet them where they're at. In fact, I was talking to one guy who came to most of the school board meetings. He was an actual socialist. And we became friends by the end of it. And I was like, I don't agree with you on economics, one bit, but I tried to understand his worldview and kind of where he came from. But in his head, he believed that he also cared about the kids.
Yeah. But if things aren't working, look at our track record right now with the school system. I mean, we have the worst in the, what are we 48 to 50 or something like that?
Well, what's crazy about that, right? Is when I got on the school board, right? I was like, I'm gonna make all these changes, which I did make some significant changes, right? I helped fight for us expanding our dual language program. I was the one who pushed that. Nobody else was even talking about it. We got kids on the school board, right? Because people would come to me like, oh, you're the young guy. But then I was like, well, I'm not gonna be young forever. I'm 30. I'm crusty now. But so there were some things, but a lot of the things I was talking to Danielle Bethel about this a couple of weeks ago. Like we all went on there like thinking we could do these things.
Yeah.
A lot of it's at the state level. Like a lot of that has to get
well
done.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to get approvals and and funding and all that other stuff, and we've got to change that too, because it's not going the right direction.
Yeah.
They're going back in 29th of September or no, this month.
Yeah, for the transportation.
Yeah, I can't afford another tax.
Gosh, I don't even want to get into that.
It's we're losing businesses, right? I mean, California, Oregon, Washington, major businesses are just flooding out.
Yeah. Well, my big thing on that is like, it's not even just like, yes, as a business owner and like as a business journal, like I'm supposed to, represent.
Be about business.
Yeah, 100%. But also just as a regular human, right? Because like, why do we own businesses? To feed our families.
Yeah.
To help, to employ people and help them feed their families.
Absolutely.
And then do fun and cool stuff along the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like provide value to the community that they enjoy. You enjoy.
That's 100%. And you'll talk to most small business people. That's what they do. That's why I'm in business. I'll tell people, right up front. Yes, I want to provide for my family, but I'm providing not just for my family. I have close to 100 employees. I've had over 100 employees at one time, but a lot of those are family.
Yeah.
There are multiple families that I have to support.
Yeah.
So
when they depend on you, right? Because like if you don't perform, right, then we're going to see what happened at Rudy's, right? Where there was a bunch of employees who couldn't pay their rent.
Yeah.
And so that's why like the pressure's on you, because if you don't operate your business well, if you're not able to bring in the customers and provide the service that you're able to provide, then you can't keep the lights on, which means they can't get paid.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's exactly
what happened with Rudy's, right? When he ran out of money,
Yeah.
then the business went under. And then all of a sudden, all these employees who have been working loyally, consistently, all of a sudden we're without a paycheck. And so like that same responsibility is on you every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
We're constantly looking at the bank accounts. We're looking at, okay, today was busy. Yesterday was busy. Now we're going into a slow or last 2 weeks were slow. Let's, how do we get more people in? Matt just went to a food show in Las Vegas. He just got back today. And he was telling me it's not just our type of restaurants. He said it's across the board. They were all across the country. There's 4%. They're down 4%, spending 4% less. So the upper and middle income are spending 4% less. And that's about what we're down in sales. The lower income people, they're still spending. I don't know how, but they said that
credit card debt is at
and their credit card debt is getting higher.
Yeah. I actually think that's crazy. Like I'm not like, I'm pretty like anti-government in most things. I'm Native American, right? Government's never been good.
Never been good.
Right. Yeah. And I just started like a Native American podcast where I'm talking about like Native American issues, which is we'll launch in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that's a common theme, which is like we're very like anti-government.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things.
That's why we get along. I'm anti-government. I don't want, less government is better.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah. Just let us do our thing. And my mom, she's pretty proud about being part Native American.
Oh, really?
She's Canadian, Algonquin, Cree, Martinet, Sausay.
Oh, cool.
Like 4 or 5 different tribes she's a part of.
Wow.
And she doesn't get any, funding or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's too far down the bloodline or whatever.
Yeah.
But her mom and her grandma didn't speak any English. She spoke a combination French Indian. I can't remember what the name of the language they call it, something. But it's
there's a bunch of them. Like we have
Canada.
Chinook Wawa, which is like Chinook, which was like one of our original languages. But then the Chinook Wawa was like a trade language, which had some French in it.
A lot of the Native American tongue is combined with French, and then you're like,
get out of here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you take your baguettes across the river,
But that's she tells me all the time, when all this stuff's been going on.
Yeah,
she's like, let me at him. Let me at him. You're everything. You're every race. I said, I know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, can we talk about that for a second? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit, because we wrote an article about it, right?
Yeah.
I went and read an initial article about the ethics complaint, and I kind of went and read through it, and then I was like, I gotta call Mike. I was like, because one, like I know you as a human, and then two, it's like I'm a big believer of telling like an entire story as it is.
Yeah. So
Can you tell me like a little bit about like the situation and like
with saying any names, I can't go too deep because I told you I don't want to rehash that.
Yeah.
The person or persons that created the problem, but I've had a food booth at the Marion County Fair for 15 years or more.
Actually.
So I've had a food booth for probably 15 or more years at the fair. Before that, I would sponsor the fair. I would just give them money and I would donate a banquet for the legislative reception every year.
Oh, that's nice.
So I've had this booth at the fair. They asked me after sponsoring the fair and doing these things for several years, they finally asked me if I wanted to have a booth there. So they picked my spot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason they picked my spot and put me where I'm at the fair every year, that's the only area that has cement or concrete under it or asphalt under it. And I have hot fires that cook food.
Okay.
So if you put me on grass, I'm going to destroy the grass. So anyways, after a few years of working at the fair and doing that, I said, it might be fun to be on the board because I was making friends with them and with the board members and stuff. And so they appointed me as a key volunteer. And I did that for a couple of years. And then a position came available because the chairman resigned. And then they said, hey, do you want to come on as a board member now? Yeah, sure. So I came on. I was board member for maybe a year. And then I got elected as chairman of the board. Nobody else wanted it. I'm like, bro, I like running stuff. So yeah. And so, you know, and I was chairman of the board for like 4 years because nobody else wanted it. I kept saying, hey, does somebody else want to do it this year? Nope, you can have it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, someone's got to captain the ship.
And so during that time, we took the fair from being in the hole every year. It was running in the red every year. So anyways, we took it the year that I resigned, right after the fair, I think we had, or maybe the year before I resigned, we got it up to almost, I want to say 400 something in the bank after the fair was all paid.
$400?
Yeah. Multiply that times,
400,000.
So 400,000 roughly in the bank.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, what was this ethics complaint? Like
the complaint was that I was my business was benefiting from the fair. Well, technically, yes, but not because of my position.
Every business there is benefiting from the fair.
Yeah. Okay. And hopefully the fair is benefiting from the businesses that they let operate in the fair. So there was that.
Sorry, I have a couple questions. Were you in the same location?
Never moved.
That was already picked for you.
That was picked for me before I was even part of the board.
I see. So you were just consistently in that same spot.
Consistently in the same spot. Yeah.
Okay. So you just didn't move it, didn't touch it.
Never moved it. I liked the spot. For me, it was a good spot. For other people, it was a terrible spot because it was kind of off the main food. It's a good location. It's near the kids coming from 4-H and FFA. And by the way, that's why I wanted to be on the board, to help support kids in 4-H and FFA.
So that's kind of like you kind of like that area anyways. But but the important part for the ethics part, right? As far as like the people who are concerned about it. Yeah. Is that location was already chosen for you.
Yeah.
And you just didn't touch it.
I didn't say I wanted a different spot. I liked where I was at. They picked it for me.
Yeah. And then while you were chairman of the board, were there any times, I guess, when your business benefited and others not? Or are there any other situations?
No.
Or there could have been any gray area, I guess.
Well, it turns out, if you have a business at the fair and you're on the board, you can't talk about that particular business. But the whole reason they appointed me was because of my expertise in food and in the food industry and event industry, because I've been doing events for a long time.
I see.
And nobody thought twice about it. The commissioners didn't care. They're like, we want you in this position because of who you are, because of your experience and expertise. None of the other board members seemed to mind, but somebody put in this complaint that I handpicked board members, which is...
Did you?
No. that I handpicked all my friends, it said. And I'm like, there's only one person that was a friend of mine before he became a board member. The rest of them became my friends after I came on the board. Yeah. I didn't know anybody, essentially. Well, it's just like you go into school board and you meet some people and they become your friends.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I made a lot of friends while I was on there. Like I'm still friends, I would say, with most of the board that I served with.
Yeah.
In fact, even, my opponent that I ran against, I would say not best friends, right? But I would consider him a friend.
Yeah.
And
You're not going to,
and even people on the board now, there are people on the board now who I know because of that role, who I'm friends with because of the role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But before the role, I wouldn't have any reason to talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first ethics complaint, right, was because there were two of them?
No, it's just one.
Oh, just the one.
It was one. I didn't find out about it for 6 months, but.
And when was it? What year
it was like 4 years ago.
This was 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this right now?
Exactly. That's my point.
What?
So what
okay,
happened?
Okay. Wait. So I want to clarify.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. Okay. So 4 years ago, there was an ethics complaint. Were you still
chair? 3 or 4. It must have been 4.
Were you still chair of the board at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. But that was because nobody else would.
Because nobody else wanted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the ethics complaint was that you were handpicking people to be on the board.
Yeah.
With you.
In this case, this person had said in their letter, I've come to many board meetings and made complaints about Mike Adams.
Have they ever been to a board meeting?
They had never been to a board meeting.
And why? And now I remember when I first asked you about this, there's a standard procedure to ethics complaints and what deems an appropriate ethics complaint. Like, for example, when I was on the school board, right, there was a time when we were talking about, it was during COVID, right? And there was a lot of racism happening against some Asian students, right? And so I was the first Native American ever elected on the school board.
Yep.
And then there was another student who was an Asian student who was super high performing, great kid. We both were speaking to this, and he was speaking to it, and then I spoke to him to acknowledge, what he was saying. And, and about, the hate that was happening to some kids. And outside of the window, right, there's all these people banging on the window about racism.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, while we were talking.
Yeah.
And, so during that time, right, when there's a bunch of people angry and frustrated, any one of those people could have or would have, filed an ethics complaint about if my shoe was untied or something. And so, there's got to be some sort of standard.
Any one of those people that was actually there.
Yeah.
And witnessed something happen.
Okay. And so, but there's got to be some sort of standard as far as like, okay, well, is this a real ethics complaint or is this not? Do you know what the kind of standards are, or is it?
I have no. What they told me was once a complaint comes in, they have to investigate it. Which the funny thing is that's not true because if you don't file the complaint properly, then they don't have to investigate it. Whatever that means, because there was a group I can't remember which one that just happened, and it's like out of Portland. There's something going on up there, which isn't unusual. But the ethics board said, well, you didn't file the complaint, so we're not going to investigate it. It wasn't properly filed, or it's like, so, okay, what is properly filed? It says, you can do an anonymous. I don't know why this person just didn't do an anonymous complaint. But the bigger point is, when they got the complaint, they're supposed to contact the person that's the complaint is against, bring them in or over the phone, talk to them and figure out, what's going on. Is this a valid complaint? Have you ever heard of this person? Or, have these things happen or whatever? People lie, but, I was never contacted.
So the complaint got filed.
They claim they sent me emails. And so as I'm on the phone with the investigator for the ethics, at the time it was a gal, and she's now retired, and that's how this all came up. So she said, well, we tried to send you emails, or we sent you emails back in April. And I'm like, I said, what would the email be under? What would the address? And I punched it into my deal in my phone, and I'm showing no emails coming in to this email address. We sent you letters too. And I'm like, I've never received a letter from you. And I mean, if you get a letter in the mail that says ethics on it,
you're going to open that letter.
Yeah.
And this isn't just some coupon.
Exactly.
To Shopko.
And so I said, I'm not a hard person to find.
Yeah.
I said, you could almost ask anybody and they'll tell you, go to Adam's Rib, or, you could leave a message there. You could, I said, there's multiple ways you can find me. And then she admits, well, we sent it to the wrong email address. And I said, and so this 6 months ago, you've sent an email to the wrong email address. Did you send any others? They claim they sent multiple.
To the wrong email address.
To the wrong email address.
Well, what?
And I'm like, so
do?
How did you get my email address now? And she couldn't answer it. So that tells me they probably didn't send any emails.
Yeah.
So anyways.
But even if they did, then your due process of being able to,
Yeah, you'd
know.
think I would. Yeah, they said, well, your hearing is, and it was some like a week away, less than a week away. It's like 4 or 5 days. So now I'm scrambling, and I'm trying to get as much. Okay, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what I did.
To be fair, I'm like that. So like every now and then, like if somebody like gets mad at me for something, I'm like, did I do something wrong?
I do the same thing.
It's really like I've just been at home, just on my couch.
I don't remember doing this. What? So I started looking back, and then I contact the commissioners, and because I want them to know what's going on. I want to be upfront. They've, I've known them all for a long time.
Well, how did they respond?
They were shocked. They were like, I don't know what this is about. We want you in that position. You've done nothing wrong. They were all fine with everything.
Yeah.
They knew everything. They get every report. So, it turns out the commission determined that I had possibly violated 2 areas. One was making decisions on food vendors, and it would have put me, benefited me somehow.
Wait, so it was, let's take them one at a time. So it was picking food vendors?
Yeah.
Did you pick food? Like do you guys receive I don't understand.
You get applications in, and the applications are judged on a scale. So, okay, does this person do things in the community? 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And then there's like 6 or 8 people in that group. And I think I did participate one time years ago in that part of it. It might have been even that during COVID, when we reopened the fair, and I wasn't going to have a food booth in it because I was going to retire. So I might have been when I was on that part of picking food vendors, but I wasn't going to have a booth in the fair. That's the only time I remember helping with picking food vendors.
Wait, so you said it was during COVID, like 2021?
Yeah, it would have been the year we reopened because we were closed for a year, and
you were planning to retire.
And I wasn't going to have a booth. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to work anymore. And I was just too relaxed during COVID. It was just, free time. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that's the only year that I participated in picking food vendors.
Okay.
And picking food vendors, I mean, like I said, it's a matter of, what style of food do they have?
Because I mean, we both know that now that you've said that, right, there's going to be people digging into it.
And,
I mean, if you did, right, if there was another year, would you be like, well, okay, my apologies?
I don't remember another year because I know the gal that is in charge, she's the paid help with Marion County. She's a really nice gal. And then the coordinators, and we all tried to follow everything, to the T.
Yeah. Well, because there's a set procedure.
Yeah. Set procedures that you do. I remember being on helping pick a new ticket vendor, that supplies us with our ticket to get into the fair and that kind of stuff. After the year that we reopened COVID, it was so slamming busy, the food vendors couldn't handle it. I mean, there was not enough food vendors, and they were just having a hard time keeping up, people waiting. So then somebody brought up food trucks at the fair. And this is where they say they got me. And I said something to the nature of, food trucks probably wouldn't be the best idea to use because they have a motto of fresh food, not fast food. And if you've ever been to a food truck and waited 20 minutes for your burrito, I said, so there's only a few food trucks that can handle that type of crowd. And I said, what you need to look for is vendors like Golden Grill or Adam's Rib, because, did you hear what I just said? Adam's Rib. So now I just promoted myself. Only problem was,
that was an example.
I'm already in the fair.
Yeah. Because
they already went through their food selections, and I wasn't in the group to go through that group of food selections. And they selected me again because I decided, my kids decided we were going to go back into the fair. I'm giving them examples of the type of vendor that can handle the crowds.
Well, and the reason, I want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So the reason you're given this explanation is because they can produce a mass quantity of food at one time and then
quickly
dish it out. Versus one item at a time.
Exactly.
That checks out.
Yeah.
And during this time, you were already, this is a different year than
This is the next year later.
Following year. Yeah.
And it was after they did their food selections.
Okay.
And they had selected.
And you were already in it.
I was already in the selection.
Okay. So Adam's Ribs is already there.
Adam's Ribs is already there.
So,
and they're trying to decide, okay, should we bring some food trucks in to alleviate the pressure on the booths? Because we were having a hard time finding more food booths.
Yep.
Because after COVID, everybody quit working. And so that was the first thing that they say that I violated, because I mentioned my own name as the type of booth that can handle the crowds.
Well, even if you, it's already there.
Yeah.
So what do you
exactly.
Be there more? You're already
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then the second complaint was I benefited financially because of the catering end. So I've done catering at not just this fair, but other fairs, and in particular for the business that had already chose me to be their caterer. And so everybody that wants to have a picnic or a party at the fair has the option of picking any food vendor at the fair. But if you don't pick one of those food vendors and you want to bring a private catering company in to cater your, say, 300 person event, and it's going to cost you $10,000 or $12,000 to do that, that caterer pays no fee, but they're making $10,000 or $12,000 at the fair. But the food vendors that have a booth at the fair are paying 22%, and they're making, at the Marion County Fair, $20,000, $22,000 for the entire event is a good fair. Caterer can make that in one day on one catering event in 3 hours.
Wow, that is a huge difference.
They can make 10 grand.
Yeah,
and then walk away with 10 grand. Why don't they have to pay a fee to be at the fair selling food to a group of people?
Well, especially, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, because so in this situation, right, we have the food vendors, which are the ones when I'm going around to get my deep fried rabbit leg, and my 2-foot long Twinkie, deep fried chicken fried with curly fries. Yeah, those are like the
all
booths.
Fried.
Yeah, everything fried in a 10-foot hot
fry
dog
the fry
with relish. Yeah. And so those are the big booths as you're walking down, you see. And then separately, there's the events. Yeah. So they come in and then they cater an event, they take their money, and then they dip. But they don't have to have a booth or nothing.
No.
They just come and cater one event.
And they're not paying any kind of fee to pay.
So the retail ones pay the fee. 22%, you said?
It's 22%, I think.
Okay, so they pay a 22% fee. And then the caterers come in and they don't pay any fees at
Nothing.
All. Well, that's not fair.
Yeah. And so I bring up, at a meeting, I said, why aren't caterers having to pay a fee? I said, even at 10%, pay, put a 10% charge on any caterer that comes in here, whether it's backstage catering, a big picnic for a corporate event catering, as long as it's catered at the fair during the fair, and that caterer pays a 10% fee. So that was voted on. I voted to approve it along with everybody else, but I'm a vendor. And I happen to have a catering set up for the fair. And so they said I voted and it would profit my business.
But you were voting on a fee.
Yeah.
So it would hurt.
But the way they wrote it in the article or in the ethics thing was that we voted to raise a charge. And it sounded like that it would be giving the caterer more money because they're voting to raise the fee. The fee was
to raise a charge instead of just
So
the way it's
but
worded.
The fee wasn't to charge the customer to give to the caterer.
Yeah.
The fee was a percentage that the caterer had to pay.
Yeah.
So in reality, now maybe I'm not too smart a businessman because I give away too much money. In reality, I gave 10% of that catering job back to the fair.
Yeah.
Whereas if I didn't vote for that, or if I didn't even bring it up, the caterer walks out with, more money still. Yeah. But now there's a 10% fee.
So you did vote on something that has something to do with financials.
With food. Yes.
Right? With food and money.
Yeah.
However, it wasn't anything that benefits your business, really.
It cost me money.
It just doesn't benefit your business. There's no really
benefit. No, in reality, it cost me more money.
Yeah. So you voted to add a 10% charge to caterers.
Yeah.
Including you.
Including me. Yeah. Anybody who caters.
Wait, so in 22, that's when they told you, hey, we sent you an email, and then you're like, I didn't get an email. And then we had the wrong email.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then in same year, in 22, About a week later, you're supposed to defend yourself.
Yeah. They said, this is where the decision comes down. And I'm like, I didn't get to defend myself.
Oh, so you didn't get the chance to really go back and look of, did I actually do this? Because you didn't know what you had done.
They gave me what they were going to charge me with.
And did they give that to you in that email like a couple?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I had a week to try and figure it out. And so I did. And I came back to them with, I had a 5-page statement.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you have 2 minutes. And I'm like, you've never heard me speak. I said 2 minutes ain't going to do it. And so I try to get everything out. And I said, and they said, well, we've got to move on. And they said, it does appear that we may be, incorrect in this. We're going to have to revisit this and we'll give you a call. And never heard anything again. And then 3 years later, I get a call from a new investigator who's opened up because the other investigator retired. And so he's going back through her cases. And so he pulls it back up again. And I still don't get a chance to plead my case.
Why not?
And then because it's already decided.
Well, because it was decided back in 22.
Yeah. And all he's doing is wants to close it. And I said, well, what's this mean?
So I'm trying to understand. So in 22 is when they decided this.
Yeah.
But they said we will revisit it.
Yeah.
And then they just never did.
And then they just never did. I think investigative gal probably felt bad for the way she did it. And so she just shelved it.
I see.
And then a month ago, when I get a call from the new guy that's just hired, he seemed like a real nice guy talking to him on the phone.
Yeah. Well,
and
he's just trying to do his job.
Yeah, he's just trying to close the case out. And I said, well, do I get a respond? And he says, well, we're not going to fine you. We'll do a letter of education. And, you sign this and agree not to sue us. And I should have got a clue when they said that.
Agree not to sue us.
Yeah. And so I was like, I just want this done.
Yeah.
And so I read it over and I missed the part where it said he possibly, I don't remember if it said possibly and the way it was worded was weird. And I'm just done with it. I just want to be, I'm just done. So I signed it and said, but I want to make it clear that I am not admitting any guilt because I never intentionally did anything that you're saying here. And so they wrote that in there, that actually said that in there somewhere, that they didn't believe that I intentionally.
Oh, they did say that?
I thought it said that in there. Whatever. it's all done now.
Yeah. By the way, like the fact is what happened, right?
Yeah.
And
3 years ago.
I figure I know you as a person. And from what I know, you seem like I've always thought of you as like very stand-up guy. And not just that, but in those situations, right? If I'm just reporting on just the news, right? Yeah. The fact of the story is, one, you didn't pick your spot. You just left it alone. Yeah. Which is probably what I would have done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah. We're doing good there. Why should I want to move? I didn't pick it, but
yeah.
You always question, when you go into an event, like they moved us at State Fair this year. Yeah. We're like, we think we're in a really good spot, but are we? I don't know until it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know. But the 10% one, that one's really the one that got me. In fact, that's why when I read it and after I talked to you, I was like, Mike, I got to write a story on this. Well, because it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's really just, I think, people looking for an excuse to come after people. And I just think that's wrong. And I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, no. And that's what it is.
Which, to be fair, Mike, right? If it did seem like you had done it, I'd be like, Mike, I was still writing a story on it.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's why when you called me and I'm like, oh, crap, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I knew you would be honest because you've always been honest and we've had a good relationship that way.
Yeah. Well, if you'd done it, if
I had done it, I would admit it.
Then I would still write. I'd still call you, be like, Mike, I'm writing a story.
But the problem is, if I wasn't honest,
give you a fair shake.
I'm a guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm so honest. I can't live with myself to not be this way. My heart is for people. It's funny that I'm taking care of my 87-year-old mother because my siblings, never thought I would be the one to do that. But it's in my nature to be a caregiver. I care for people deeply. If I unintentionally hurt people, I feel, and I find out later about it, I feel horrible, and I try to find that person and rectify the situation. But it's one of those things where it's just not in my nature to steal, cheat, lie, hate. I don't even like the word hate. I mean, it's like people come after me in these stupid, comments and stuff. And it's like, I don't hate them. I feel sorry for them that they have to go on the attack constantly. What's your life like that you can't have love in your life?
I think that a lot of people, like, for example, if I read the article that I read about it, and if I just skim through it, I'd be like, oh yeah, he's guilty.
Well, yeah, because
you don't even read.
You pick out the highlights.
You skim it. You read the headline. The headline's like, Mike Adams, piece of crap.
Yeah. Right.
And, you read that, and people will assume that it's going to be true.
Yeah.
Or that there's not a narrative spun with it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, especially like as we've seen in the last couple of years, is there's a lot of times where there's an agenda behind a story or the way behind things are done, and I've never been a fan of that.
No,
but
no, it's not honest reporting. I mean, in reality, it's ever since the social media, internet, all that stuff, everything is just clickbait. It's like, you gotta,
and that's what's been super hard for me, right? Because ever since I bought the Salem Business Journal, I tell people that, like, my goal is to make our town a good place to have a family and start a business.
Yeah.
And how can I tell the news in a way that's honest and true, but then also how can I do it in a way that also, like, will reach people? And it's a hard balance, because I could have been Mike Adams, unfairly treated by all these, like, and done it in a rageful way. But like, how do you find that balance? And it's tough. It's not a perfect walk. And so, like, I even try to give other people credit to where, like, I'm sometimes like, maybe I do it too much, where I'm like, I don't think they meant in bad harm.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they do.
I'm guilty to a fault with trusting people.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess I shouldn't have trusted that person.
Yeah. And it sucks, because it's also like, if you're just trying to do good in the community, and you're like, I'm just trying to be a good person and do good things
and just make good things happen. I mean, it's our society is so messed up right now.
Yeah.
The fair for me was just a great organization to be a part of, to help 4-H and FFA kids, and to bring urban families into the fold of what really goes on at farms, what happens. You bring some of these kids in, they think that, chicken's just something you find in the grocery store wrapped in plastic. And you can actually go and hold a chicken. You can, my grandkids are 4-H kids. They're doing great things. And you look at these FFA, and some of when they get to that level in high school, and they are so set for a career of some kind.
Yeah.
Even if they don't go to college, there's speech programs, there's debate, it's more than just, raising animals, Yes, there's animal husbandry, and there's farming and agriculture and whatnot, but these kids are taught, how to interact with adults. Mm-hmm. And the speeches that you hear some of those kids give are like, man.
No, I think the FFA programs are super cool. I never did FFA.
Yeah, I never did either
when I was in school. But when I met some of these kids, when I was on the school board, and I met some of these kids coming in to speak, right? Some of them were like happy about stuff, but usually the students would come in when there was a problem, like either with school lunches, or even the ones that came in to to talk about like systemic racism, or to the ones who came in because, some adults brought them in to push a political agenda for the adults. But, the kids, the great thing about any of the kids who came in, right? They're young. They're like 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
And they're coming to speak in front of a whole table of what I used to call soup people when I was a kid. And I loved every single one of them. Like, because when they would come in, like I would try to go talk to them in between, because I'm like, how admirable is that? I wouldn't have done that when I was their age.
Even my mom told me to.
Yeah. Even if I had a mom to tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's crazy, but I also think it's so cool. And, and it's really cool seeing to be able to see those kids be able to have the confidence. And because a lot of these kids, after they would come speak, right, I would see them come again to speak again, and you see like their confidence, like they get a lot, their ability to present, or even like pausing when they're speaking, or seeing the communication in between, like after the meeting and stuff. I think it's really cool, and I think that that's a skill set that you don't really get until you try it. And so,
you have to. I was terminally shy
yeah,
until I started my first company when I was 18 years old, and I had to go knocking on doors and talking to people, and I started advertising, mowing lawns or whatever it was, landscaping, and the first person I go up there, they come out, look at my place, and so what do you want? What are you looking for? And you got to walk the place, and you have to learn how to communicate with them. And man, it was tough. And I thought, I'm never going to make it unless I just break out of the shell.
Yeah.
And now you can't shut me up hardly, but that's always the joke.
What'd you think it was that made you break out of your shell?
Yeah, the need to succeed.
Yeah.
You can't succeed in business if you don't know how to talk to people. Communicate, listen to people. What are your needs? What do you need? What's your goal? what are you trying to accomplish? And if you're just gonna, if you're shy, you're looking down, you're not gonna mumble, and so you gotta be able to project your voice and clarity. And it took me, like I said, as a child I was shy. In high school I was shy. It wasn't until I started that first company that I broke out of that shell and started speaking. And then over the years people want to hear my story, or they want, I've spoke at churches, at usually men's breakfasts and things like that. And I'm not perfect. I cannot follow a script very well. I usually will bring something with me to keep me on track, and then I'm talking notes. I do have some props when I speak.
I used to when I was with bridge construction during college.
Yeah.
So like during summer break, winter break, I would go do bridge construction. In fact, sometimes I would do nights, and I used to get so much crap from all my coworkers because I used to make bacon, and I would wrap it in a paper towel, put it in my back pocket,
snack on.
Yeah. And so while we were paving asphalt roads, I was like, snacking on some bacon. I call it my pocket bacon.
Pocket bacon.
You should try it.
Bacon's good.
It might make you a better speaker.
You never know. Yeah. When I say props, though, so like I said, I grew up in a lower middle class. My aunt Helen, the 94-year-old one, her husband was an upholsterer. So he had an upholstery shop behind the house.
A what? Upholsterer?
Upholsterer. So
what is that? Upholstery.
Furniture upholstery. Upholstering, putting new leather, new fabric on furniture.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. And he would build custom furniture and stuff.
Yeah.
So he would always have these books it's kind of like a carpet book or drapery book.
Yeah.
Or it was a fabric book. It was full of furniture fabric.
Oh, cool.
And I remember, I still have it, and this is why I say it, because I use it as a prop when I speak now. My mom made me this vest.
Okay.
And you hear Dolly Parton's song, "The Coat of Many Colors," or Joseph's Amazing Technicolor by Donny Osmond. Anyways, she made me this vest out of upholstery material scraps, little squares, sample squares. And so it's a patchwork vest.
Okay, that's cool.
And I would wear that proudly to school.
Yeah.
I would get teased unmercifully by the other kids because that was a homemade, vest. It wasn't a store-bought. Had a really pretty lining in it. It still does. It's a striped lining.
Way cooler because nowadays that stuff's popular.
People I know.
We're like all these fake.
I was cool before it was cool. But
I was like, go get yourself an helmet.
Yeah, I was speaking at Food for Thought. Have you ever gone to Food for Thought?
I have, actually. So I started going when it first started, because that's when I was still at Blum Real Estate. So I was still with Gladys. I love Gladys. Yeah, she's one of my favorite humans.
Yeah,
and
I've known her for. My son Mike was on her puppet troupe. She used to do puppets.
A what?
Puppet troupe.
She did
So
puppets?
she did puppets. Oh yeah, you would have been
Gladys
perfect
did
for
puppets?
it.
What does that
You should
mean?
ask Gladys sometime about her puppets.
I don't know if I want to. What
Yeah,
does this
no,
mean?
it's amazing. She actually loaned them to my son when he went on a mission trip
She
to
has
Mexico.
puppets currently?
I don't know if she still has them, but she used to put on. She had puppets like the
What do you mean
Muppets.
she had
You know,
puppets? She put on puppet shows?
yeah, at the
Gladys
churches
did
and stuff.
puppet shows?
Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
cool.
Gladys Blum's puppet troupe. Yeah, and she loaned Mikey a whole bunch of them, and he went to Mexico on a mission trip, and he did puppet shows with the other kids. And
That's awesome.
yeah, it was really cool.
Wow.
And yeah, she's great. I took care of her yard too.
Oh, did you?
Gladys and Pete. Yeah, they had a really nice house out at South Salem on Rogers Loop. Beautiful, beautiful. Again, it was one of those, Mike, I want it to look like a park. And it was a forest, you know.
Oh, sounds about right.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, so I have been to Food for Thought.
Yeah.
It was after my school board days, and I was just, slinging houses.
Yeah.
And Gladys was like, hey, you should come with me to this.
Yeah, it's a great, speaking, I don't know, I can't go this time because it's state fair time. It's next Wednesday, I think. Yeah, it's next Wednesday. Well,
see, I'm not able to go right now. I have a commitment that on Wednesdays now that I got to stick with.
Yeah.
But I do
I come and go. I mean, I haven't been in a few months. It's hard with taking care of my mom now because I have to get up every morning about 7:30. I feed her breakfast and give her morning pills. And then if I'm not going to be there at lunch, I'll make her a sandwich of some kind. She loves avocado, tomato, and onion.
That is quite a sandwich.
And that's it. Avocado, tomato, and onion.
Is she pretty particular about her sandwiches?
She's not real particular. She doesn't like a lot of meat. I feed her a lot of fish, but in her sandwiches, she loves a good sardine sandwich.
Sardine
just
sandwich.
Plain sardines and mayonnaise.
That sounds like a British
meal.
meal.
It's I like sardines too, but yeah, she could live off of that.
That's wild.
I do a lot of tuna sandwiches for her.
Oh, tuna sandwiches are
fun. Oh yeah. She loves a good tuna sandwich. But anyways, so I don't have a lot of time anymore either to go. And this week we're state fairing it for 11 days starting Friday.
Well, Food for Thought was really cool because you get to go meet other other community leaders and just folks from around town and just get to know each other as humans. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
And getting to hear people's stories who just in a regular business life I would never talk to just because different fields.
And that's the cool part about it, when he asked me to come and speak and I was thinking, okay, what prop should I bring this time? I have another one. I have a 1914 Con saxophone because I played the saxophone when I was a kid.
You still play the saxophone?
I got Bell's palsy when I was 16.
What is that?
It's where your whole side of your face paralyzes. So the whole right side of my face went dead, basically, and I lost control of my lips that whole summer.
Does that still happen?
And no, it doesn't happen, but I don't have the same control that I had when I was before that happened. So I can't control how the mouthpiece, and blowing through the horn. And, I could probably teach myself again, but I haven't played. I still have two saxophones. I have a 70s model Con.
More than one saxophone?
Yeah. And the first one,
who has one?
So my dad wanted us to all play instruments, and so he would put away. I mean, the rental charge back then, I think he paid like $5 a week or a month or something that. But each of us played. My sister played the flute. My little brother Mitch played the trumpet or the trumpet shaped cornet. I don't know what that meant, but
I still don't know what that means.
My next older brother than me, Mark, played the clarinet, and he was an amazing guitar player. My oldest brother was he was the favorite. He played the oboe, the clarinet, the violin, the trumpet, the saxophone. Oh, he had a killer soprano sax. Soprano sax is the straight one.
Yeah.
With the little...
Oh, the really high pitch.
Yeah.
Just a little bit at the end.
Yeah, that's an amazing instrument. But he played all of those.
Plays the saxophone.
And what's that?
Bill Clinton played the saxophone.
Yes, he played the tenor.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's when you see a president stand up there and...
Oh,
And
yeah.
no, I loved playing it, but after that summer, when I got Bell's palsy, I couldn't practice all summer, so I lost a lot in the practice. You got to practice every day when you're playing an instrument. You can't just,
Yeah.
or at least I did. I had to practice every day. And there was always some kind of squawking noise coming out of our house all the time. When all of us got together.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. We called ourselves the Salvation Army Band, and we would play songs for my parents and stuff.
Oh,
but
cool.
like the Partridge Family or something. But
that's cool. How did your parents like that?
Oh, they loved it.
Yeah,
they loved it. My dad was really upset when I stopped playing. He didn't get mad. He didn't say anything, but I could tell he was upset. But that first saxophone, though, he made payments on it, but it was a 1914 Con. It was the ugliest. It still is the ugliest, dented, tarnished, in a black case, square wooden case with velvet lining inside.
Yes.
And the velvet lining was like corduroy. And then the outside was like a leatherette, real thin, and it was all dented, ripped, and the outside of the case weathered. And so I would put stickers all over it. So I had Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. I had military stickers just covering up every scratch, every tear of the thing.
Were you ever in the military?
No, I wish. I wanted to, but my eyesight and asthma.
I have thought about it, Mike. Yeah. I've still.
You're still young enough to do it.
I know.
I know a gal that just went through basic training. She ran for Mrs. Oregon here not too long ago.
Well, see, for me, it's like, I know that it's not my final calling because I think I got stuff to do here at my home base where, I can have a much bigger impact, I think, on our community, in the media space or, in my ability to, with policy, legislation, that sort of stuff.
But you could do National Guard and it's, weekend a month.
That's what I'm thinking.
And you got to go for basic training for, for quite a few weeks, 6 weeks or something like that. 6 or 8 weeks.
See, I'm just stressed that I'm going to go gone for 6 weeks, come back and my business is on fire.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You have to have somebody that can do the work here because you can't, once you're there, you're out of communication for a month and then you can have communication to a degree. But this gal just went back.
Even then, even after basic training, then you have the after training.
Yeah. And then you got to go. Yeah, I think she came back and she was in active for 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And just the other day she posted that she's really not sure what to think because she's now leaving the job she just loves because it was the National Guard job. And now she has to go back to civilian life and then it'll be one weekend a month or if she gets called. Yeah. So you have to go to training. I think it's 1 weekend a month.
Yeah. I do think it's been something that's kind of been tugging at my heart. I think since I was younger. I think the biggest thing for me is I just wanted to make sure I wasn't doing it for money or anything. Because I know some people went in and quit for their career, but for me, it's kind of I don't know. I just kind of feel I just feel if I feel like if we went to war right now, I feel like I would volunteer because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. It's been kind of tugging at me, but also I'm really good at, business or helping the community. And so I feel like that's my strong suit. And
well, you got to make sure that it's the right thing to do. Now I'm not pushing you into it. I think you'd be great at it because you're pretty much
fine. I'll sign up.
You're pretty much great.
I'm just joking.
Great at everything you put your mind to.
Okay. Oh, no, not everything.
This type of stuff. I mean, if you wanted to go into the media in military, you can get that training and you get paid for it.
I feel like if I go though, I'm gonna want to.
You're gonna be on the line.
Yeah, I'm gonna want to do some cool stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, well, it's not even just for that, but it's more of the other. One reason is because kind of civic duty. I feel like and. In native culture, it's kind of protect your land, protect this is our homeland, and then the other side of it's also, what if something happens, having that training on how to use a weapon and how to, protect people and how to the combat skills of that, I think would be useful. What if something happens?
Yeah.
And am I ready to protect people?
Well, I think you would figure it out really quick. I mean,
yeah,
it's an instinct.
But anywho, anything else you want to talk about before we take off?
I don't know. I'd love to come back on and we talk about something else.
We can talk about all sorts of different stuff.
There's a ton of stuff.
Oh, I have a bunch of things I'd love to talk to you about, but it would take like another 2 hours.
Yeah.
But one thing, just real quick, I want to touch on is, so I have kind of a vision for Salem that I've kind of come up with, and I've been sharing with some folks, and I would be interested to hear your take on this.
Yeah.
So currently, I have my team at the SBJ reaching out to some folks from Boise, to sit down with some folks who kind of help turn Boise into what it is.
Uh-huh.
And
it's cool. Boise's cool.
Boise is cool.
Yeah.
And what I would like to do with Salem is make Salem cool. I mean, I think Salem's cool, right? But at the same time, if you ask most people my age and younger, they're like, what is there to do? Which, as someone who likes to go out in the woods, and hunt and fish and roll around in dirt, I'm happy all the time.
Yeah.
But also, it would be cool if I didn't have to drive to Portland to go to,
the cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And other cool stuff, like city cool stuff.
City cool stuff.
And so I kind of have like a small vision for Salem. And I would love to hear your thought on it, because you could be like, Jesse, you were so wrong. And I'll be like, that's fair. So what if we got known as the city of murals? So I've two caveats, two things. This is a 2-piece solution. One of them is to push back on the city's sign code.
Yeah.
And also allow for people to paint murals on the sides of a lot of the buildings downtown. This would have 2 benefits. One of them would be, there's a lot of like ugly stuff in some of these walls.
Yeah.
You're either like not allowed to paint over, because like when you're driving up Liberty Street, right, and there's like park here or whatever on the side of the building, like, wouldn't it be cool if that was something actually pretty to look at? And,
is it historical? Is that park here historical though?
It's historically ugly is what it is, right? Or like some of these buildings that are like historical, but like they're not usable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, gosh, there's some of them where like, is there a way for us to maintain that same kind of look ish, but then make it so it's a usable building that people would want to actually go use?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking that one that's got the seed sign on it down on Front Street.
Oh, the Furlong building, the one with the car?
The one
Chris
next to
Blackburn's
that,
building?
right next to that building, the Margaret Furlong or whatever.
Yes. Okay. That's actually the one that was in my head. So that's one of Chris Blackburn's.
Yeah.
buildings.
Did Chris have that one?
Yeah, but it's also
it's about to fall down though.
Designated historic, and so like, what are you gonna do? Like, you have to build it back with the same.
Well, and it was fine until they built the condos next door.
Yeah,
and they started hammering into the ground because they were putting footings, hammering with this hammer thing, and that whole building starts shaking. And if you're at Pioneer Trust Bank, you can see the whole side of it's just cracked.
Oh, really?
And you can see it sagging a little bit. It's like that thing's going to fall down. I think they shored it up, but it's like,
yeah.
I think it's a cool building if you could do something with it. Yeah.
Yeah. But so the biggest thing, historical thing is a whole different conversation.
Yeah. I had to deal with them when I was doing that first.
But we're right off I-5 and Highway 22.
Yeah.
Some of the heaviest trafficked highways in the state. And people have to drive through Highway 22 through our downtown in order to get to the coast.
Yeah.
And so what if, as they're driving by, they see some of these buildings with these giant, beautiful murals that kind of represent who we are?
Yeah.
If that might make them stay, you know what? Maybe I should stop by and grab a bite to eat.
The only one you see is the Elsinore, or the what is that? The back wall of the Elsinore?
Oh, which is a pretty one. Yeah.
No, it's not the Elsinore. What is that?
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, with the face, the top hat, and
the La Margarita, I think.
Next to that. Yeah, next to La Margarita.
Where that Wells Fargo was or used to be.
Yeah, what is that building?
I forget.
That's not the back side.
I know what you're talking about.
It's the back side of the Elsinore, isn't it?
I don't think it's the back of the Elsinore. No? I might be wrong. I could be dead wrong.
Anyways, yeah. Yeah, that's the only mural as you see.
Yeah, that's a pretty one. But imagine
But they fight against those. I'm surprised.
Why?
They want you to. It's like the roofing company there way out Turner Road, and they fought against that big,
see, and they were finding
patriotic mural.
Gosh, I know.
Yeah,
and so that's one thing that like I really want to push back on and fight on, because that gives a lot of people. It makes our town more beautiful, right? It gives us like more art, and art's a great thing.
Yeah.
And secondly, it'll help bring more traffic downtown, which will help with like a lot of our homeless problem. It'll help with safety concerns because there's just more people.
Well, and it'll give the rest of the world something else to talk about instead of, the homeless population or whatever, they're houseless or whatever they call them now.
It's homeless. I was homeless.
It's homeless.
So
you can call it that. Yeah. I don't want to get in trouble. I get enough trouble.
You can call it.
And
yeah, who cares?
It would be. I don't see a problem. If that's your passion and you think it, you can get some movement on it.
Yeah. Another one, which goes along.
There's a lot of artists out there that would love to. Some of these graffiti guys are just insane artists.
Yeah, it'd be so fun. And another aspect that I think would be fun, and I think the mural thing could be a great first step into this. Second one would be music. And I love going to concerts and having a great time fun time with friends, right?
Yeah.
And imagine if we got known. One thing, like, we're never going to be a place where Morgan Wallen stops by and is playing his songs, right? I'm going to get clipped like 5-10 years from now, and Morgan Wallen comes in. I hope I do, honestly. But we're not going to be the place where all these giant artists come in. They're going to go to Portland, or they're going to go to places with giant, metro areas. But what if we got known as the place where smaller artists can make a name for themselves? So imagine if downtown or just across the city, right? We had different places where, like, smaller country artists, blues, like, you're walking downtown.
Oh, that would be
through
great.
the alleyway, right?
Yeah.
I'm hearing the blues back here. I'm walking down the street a couple blocks forward. I hear a mariachi band here.
Yeah.
I walk forward a couple blocks, just country music here, rock. And, like, how cool would that be if we got kind of known as a place where we had, like, smaller, lesser known artists, and that was kind of as a part of our culture,
Well, it's like Nashville.
Yeah.
If you ever been to Nashville and you walk down, I can't remember what street it is, but every single restaurant has a corner.
Yeah.
And there's somebody in that corner playing.
How cool.
And you can hear that. And then you walk to the next one and say, oh, they're good. Oh, they're good. Oh, and you're walking and they're all good. But it's given these, people a spotlight, giving them a chance to break out there, and you never know.
Yeah.
No, I think that'd be cool if you just got to figure out how to do it, how to keep restaurants downtown.
Yeah. Well, I think the restaurants are already going to be downtown. It's just bringing, how do we get people to come out and do it, and how do we get artists to come out and play? And
I used to have, it's funny. There's tons of artists. As a matter of fact, I had somebody contact the other day.
With you on that.
Yeah, I used to have them come into Adam's Rib all the time.
Yeah,
every Saturday night I'd have a one person or a couple of, three. No, usually no more than three. That was really crowded in there when I did three. But I'd move all the tables around and I'd have them in the corner just playing blues or, I've used to it all the time. We haven't done it in years.
Yeah,
we used to do that when I was running it. It was all the time. I'd have different artists come in and play, and
can we do that again?
It was fun.
Can we do it?
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
I don't see why not.
SBJ will help throw on.
So I think we were just talking because we're working on revamping the Adams menu and stuff.
Yeah.
Not getting rid of the classics, but just getting some new blood going on in there.
Yeah.
And one of the kids, I think, said, well, why don't we bring in the music anymore? And it does get pretty crowded in there when we do the music. It's tiny. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun.
We'll put that parking lot on the back.
Well, we used to tent that once a year. I'd put on a big car show and I'd close State Street.
Yeah.
And tent that parking lot in the back. And I went all out on that one. We'd bring out the tap room in there, and I've had, oh gosh, Jesse Ruggles. What was his band? His band played there. I've had Ty Curtis. I've had the Gusto Brothers. We Three. They're a national band now.
Never heard of them.
They're a family out of McMinnville, and they started.
What kind of music?
I can't even remember now. It's the modern. So did they play Christian music? I can't even remember what their music was, but I was their first paying customer.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I found them playing at the McMinnville Brewfest Oregon Barbecue and Brew Festival. And I saw them playing, and I saw their dad standing back. He was their manager. And I said, how much would it cost to get them to my Brewfest? And he's like, I don't know. What do you want to do? I said, I just like them. I like their sound. I'd like them to come out and play at my restaurant. We tent the back parking lot and put on a big show. And how about $500? I'm like, done. So I haven't seen them in years, but the last time I ran into them, they had just signed a European tour.
Wow.
And they were, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And
That's
they looked
cool.
at me and I said, you remember me? Yeah, you were our first person that ever paid us to play.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
We should actually collaborate on an event together. So me and Jordan, just as like a fun thing, is we started a podcast about music.
Yeah.
And that would be a super cool one because like they've gone big.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't even touch them anymore. They might do it for me, but yeah, they were, I mean, they signed big and then they got their dad stepped down and let them have a new manager. And it's like, well, I couldn't even touch them now,
okay.
But I might look them up.
Mike, could we try to get, if I succeed in this mural venture, right, on our kickoff event, what if we had them come play and we throw in like a big event with like great food, live music?
We can get my neighbor, Warren Bednards.
Yes.
He owns the building right next to me.
Uh-huh.
We get him to get a mural on that whole wall. That one building that's right next to my parking lot.
Parking?
Yeah.
I said we just do it.
Let me call him right now.
Yeah. I was like, I will do this. Yeah.
Do you know Warren?
No, he's the guy who owns Sassy Youngin?
No,
they owned the building and they sold
it. They own the building right next to it. So that building where the what is the food there? Oh, dang it. I can't remember what type of food it is. It's
Indian food.
Indian.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't remember that. It's
pretty good. Actually, I went.
They are. There. Yeah. It's super nice family that owns it. And they're actually partners because they were struggling really bad. And then Warren didn't want to see them leave. So he partnered with them to help them keep going.
Oh, that's
so
good.
He owns the building.
That's a cool story. I'd actually love to interview him about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Warren's he's a pretty cool guy. His family owns a lot of the property in Salem. They used to own that house it's like a Spanish revival house, like near where the library is up on the hill there, right across the street. And then it's between Commercial and Liberty, or High and Commercial, or High and Liberty. Is that what it is? Liberty goes that way, and High Street.
Oh, there's that little house there that right near the river.
No, it's up. No. It's between, like it's on High Street, so it's between High. It takes up the whole block. But it sold a couple of years ago. But that was the house he grew up in.
Really?
Yeah, you should drive down there and look at some of those. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, when I drive by, I'll take note now.
Yeah, I think a dentist or doctor or dentist or something bought it, and they're redoing the whole thing. But it's another historical on the registry, I think, of historic places. So you can't touch the outside of it at all. But it's a beautiful home.
That's cool.
Yeah, really cool. Anyways, that's it.
I forgot where.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
I can't remember.
Fair enough.
Oh, we were talking about doing a music thing.
Oh, yes. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
If you're down.
Yeah, might do that again. It's been a while. I donated all the funds to Southeast Salem Community Center for that one when I was working with that group a lot. That was at the Wesleyan Church back in the neighborhood, back behind that restaurant. And I would it was just a fundraiser for them.
I love that.
And I do these things, and I usually find some nonprofit at some time to donate. The things too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because the goal is like, how can we get a bunch of people to come out and have some fun and then also do some good?
Yeah. Raise money for a good organization, Liberty House. We've done a lot of stuff for them, or family building blocks, or usually children oriented.
Yeah.
I like to see things that are going to help kids, get, foster parents, done a lot for them, and that's something that would be probably a passion on your heart to help,
I'm on the board for Liberty House.
Are you really?
I am. Yeah. That was one after I got off politics, I just got off every board and I disappeared from the face of the earth for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And, when I came back, I've been close friends with Allison, for a long time. And, we kind of talked about it, and I don't know, I was a little reluctant at first, but eventually I was like, I just got to do it because it's just, it's tough. It's hard conversations because like that's not a fun time of your life, especially if you're someone who's been there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like someone's got to advocate for these kids and fight for them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have a lot of experience being on boards and I'm pretty good at it. And so how can I, use my skill set to help?
Yeah, and that's the fun thing about being on a board. You're basically just hanging out and discussing how you can help somebody.
Yeah.
How are we what can we do to, I was on I've been on a lot of boards, a lot of men's ministry type boards. I've been on, Dynamic Life Ministries way back when it was young. The boards that are the funnest are the ones that are helping people, helping kids. Really, those are the ones. You gotta figure out, okay, what can we do? We're gonna plan this fundraiser, or we've got, or even you're just doing scholarships for kids and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to just go do stuff like that. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Well, my whole goal with my business, right, is I want to be able to like grow it to where like I can, have a roof over my head and shoes on my feet, which is more than I ever thought I'd have.
Yeah.
And then like, how can I use it to go give back and do cool things for the community? You know what I mean? I think that's
yeah, and that's should. Yeah, I suppose there's people that don't think that way, but I think everybody should think that way. How can you give back to your community? You should never just be self-centered.
Yeah. Talking about that, I was talking to somebody the other day. Who was it? I'm going to think about that once we leave.
I forget names.
But I was talking to a friend the other day about, because like with what I do with the business journal, right? I represent, like I try my best to like communicate and talk to like all businesses, blue, red, big, small. I don't really care. We like, I, believe in business. And, I was talking to somebody about, so I've had several people approach me about their idea to build a giant, sports complex. 5 or 6 different people. I may be exaggerating. I'm thinking off the top of my head. 3 people to be exact. But I've had several people come up to me, hey, we need to build a giant sports complex for this one thing. And
pickleball.
Yeah, giant pickleball complex. And one of them was baseball. Another one was Hoopla, right? They want
Hoopla. Yeah,
they want to build theirs.
Yeah, they're good people. Just talking to them today.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, Jason's such a great guy.
Yeah.
We filmed like a mini podcast there actually, which I think my editor is working on currently. And it was a ton of fun, and it was super cool talking to a lot of these kids.
Yeah, I hope they can accomplish it. I mean, it's a big project.
Well, I think it'd be super cool to look at, and I'm not sure where he's at on it, but I think it'd be really cool if we can kind of get all these guys in a room. So I'm going to try to reach out to all these different folks, get them all in a room, be like, okay, because each of you wants to build a sports complex. I was like, and
each of you doesn't have $10 million.
Yes,
or
that's
more.
the thing. Yeah, no, totally. I mean, and out of the bunch, if we're being completely honest, right? Hoopla's got the people. It's not and I said this to Jason. I was like, you're not doing if we build it, they will come. They're already coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so to be fair, he already has the demand. So out of everybody who wants to build a sports complex, they're already there.
Yeah.
However, if we could find a way to make a win-win-win to everybody in the community, I think that would be, how cool would that be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a project that I'm currently mapping out right now.
Yeah, I know. Here we're talking about somebody's, that whole Hoopla thing. I mean, his whole goal of, doing that is just an amazing, project. He's wanting, to help kids have a place to play,
for sure. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I was talking to him I saw he's out the fair, so I've seen him, for the last week. We've run into each other out there.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
well, the one thing that I think is going to be really important with the sports complex, no matter what it is and who does it, is going to be location. Right.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not sure what spots he's been looking at or other people. Right. But
yeah, I'm not going to say I've heard a new spot. And I thought it was really cool.
Oh, well, I haven't heard, but the one thing that I would say, right, is location is going to be really important because the kids that we want to reach with this sports complex are going to be the kids who are like me when I was younger. Right. I was a little rough around the edges and sports kept me out of trouble. And the kids who sports keeps them out of trouble, they're not going to be able to go out, on the outskirts of town, far away. It needs to be somewhere where like people can get to.
Yeah.
And so where is somewhere that people can kind of get to that's kind of near a main road to where public transportation can get there.
That's the key.
You know what I mean?
Or shuttles or something. You've got to have some kind of
Yeah.
transportation. For
Yeah.
these kids.
And so, you know, it's kind of got to be, you know, where are you going to go with it? I mean, you can't go, what? It can't be West Salem. There's no way.
Yeah,
But
that
then-
would be tough.
Yeah. But then, like, would it be kind of like, where's the land? There's like out south Salem, kind of towards Turner, or there's deep south along I-5 towards like Independence, but that's too far south, I think, or Kaiser, up towards Kaiser.
Yeah, but where's a big enough piece of property though?
That's the whole question, right? Because
Yeah.
we had 8 people wanting to build sports complexes.
I mean, where he was looking at the golf course, that's a big enough piece of property, but it's a little out there.
Mhm.
And
The golf course, which golf course?
the Oak Knoll,
Oak Knoll. Is that public?
we probably should cut that out.
Oh, I'll cut that out. Okay, we'll cut that out.
Where'd you
Yeah.
meet? Where'd you meet with him?
Oh, what was that
Where'd you meet with him?
with Jason?
With Jason.
Oh, at Hoopla.
Oh, at Hoopla,
Yeah,
during Hoopla. Okay,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
cut that other part out.
yeah. I'll cut that. Yeah.
But
But,
I can tell you the other spot too.
Well,
That's
we'll
right.
do that off.
Yeah.
We'll cut that.
Cut that out too.
section.
The old prison.
And that and this.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I
Just
mean,
cut this whole section out.
this entire yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that having a sports complex would be so great for our community and for the kids in it. And I want to make sure, you know, at least where my heart is I want to make sure the kids at North and McKay, right? If we're just being like, I want to make sure those kids can also get to the sports complex. Because like when I was leading young life at McKay, or you know, when I was going hanging out with some students out there, a lot of them didn't have the transportation to get out deep south or out in far west, and taking the bus out there just sounds horrible. And so if we had somewhere where it's a little bit easier to get to, but the question is land. Like, where are you going to build? So
Yeah.
those are all kind of things you got to wait, and there's not going to be a perfect answer.
Well, and for his, he's got to have pretty flat land
Oh, for the
Yeah.
for basketball
for
courts.
basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, almost any sports, you're going to have pretty flat land.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it could be tiered. You could have, something here and something
Yeah.
there.
But honestly, if we were able to do that, if we succeeded in building a giant sports complex that was in a spot where like kids could get to, and like how cool would that be? I wish I would have grown up with something like that around.
I was never into sports, but it's all about cars. And Yeah.
That's fair.
but I mean, I see the value in
yeah.
in that.
Well, I would still go as an adult.
Oh, I love to watch it.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
because like I would go. I was dating this girl for a long time out in Hillsboro, and they have a complex out there that like you can just go use as
Yeah.
a human. And we'd go play soccer all the time,
Mm.
and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I could see that as like a really cool way to keep kids engaged and keep them out of trouble. You know.
Well, and that's the key is a lot of it is like, you didn't have parents, you're, you could have went any direction. You've told me stories about, sleeping in the car and,
Yeah.
And luckily you had some good role models to,
Mhm.
help you through that. And part of that is coaches, coaches are,
Oh yeah, coaches
Yeah.
played a huge part
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And when you get those kids into a team environment and,
hmm
that builds their self-esteem and helps them know there's value. Yeah. So,
I'm with you on that. Well, let's solve the rest of the world's problems next time.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
That sounds good.
let's go eat some food.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am hungry and thirsty.
And I got to go give my mom her nighttime pills now. It's after 8:00.
Oh man,
It's
you're
almost 9:00.
It's 9:00.
That's like my bedtime.
Holy moly!
I'm an old man.
Gosh. Well, I got to get going too. Me and Jordan, we're speaking at an event this weekend,
Oh,
and so I got to go prep my speech.
there you go.
I'm late. She's probably wondering where I am.
Well, I'm catering for 400 plus on Saturday, and yeah,
That sounds like a lot.
yeah, it's a big one.
Save me a couple.
We got
times.
a bunch of caterings coming in this Saturday. It's when it rains, it pours. You can't turn them down. And
Yeah,
you got the feast or famine.
yeah. You got to figure it out.
Yeah,
You gotta figure
exactly.
it out. Well,
So,
Mike, thank you so much for getting together with me and talking about all this. I think one, I was really glad that we could cover the fair thing and just
yeah,
on the
it's
way.
one of those things that I wish never happened, but it did, and
yeah.
I again didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah.
So, that's it. It just is what it is. And,
Yeah.
and then misinterpreted, what all,
Yeah.
it was misinterpreted by people.
Yeah, totally. I think so too. And then, it was also really cool. I loved hearing like your story about your other businesses that you had.
Yeah.
And those stories, I would love to even dig deeper the next time we hang out about it, because there's so many great lessons to be learned, not in just the Bow and Vine, Abs Ribs, and Cozy, like your businesses that you got going on now, but also like in the ones that you failed at, or your transformation from the hot dog booth into Adam's Ribs. What a cool story, because you weren't even trying to do ribs. You were trying to do hot dogs.
I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's a whole lot. We could go on and on and on. I mean, I've got, me, I can talk.
Oh, for stories. Sure. Well, I would love to deep dive into that story again sometime. But for now, we can solve the rest of the world's problems later.
Yeah.
Let's call it a night.
All right.
Hey, thank you guys so much for listening to the Salem Business Journal podcast. Again, thank you to Compass Visuals and SMI Real Estate for making it possible. Thanks, guys. And Mike, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on and have a great discussion.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.